Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. After Ridge's rejection, Brooke leaves Forrester because she is too devastated to stay. According to spoilers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke Logan might leave Forrester following Forrester's rejection. Will Brooke ultimately determine that she is too devastated to stay? It appears like Ridge will pick Taylor Hayes over Brooke, despite Forrester's predictions to the contrary. Indeed, it's likely that Ridge will pop the question to Taylor in the upcoming episodes. Since he wasn't engaged or married to Taylor, pretended that his connection to her wasn't that strong when Ridge reminded him of it. It's obvious that Ridge will ask Taylor to marry him, ruining Brooke in the process. In any case, Ridge appears ready to decline a reunion with Brooke and let her know that Taylor is the one he wants right now. What does this signify for Brooke's future at Forrester Creations, given that she might feel humiliated and heartbroken in the aftermath? Naturally, in addition to her other duties at the company, Brooke has committed herself to Brooke's bedroom. Nevertheless, Brooke can eventually fulfill her responsibilities and choose to leave a distressing situation. Brooke might find it too difficult to handle working around Ridge every day. There may be valid reasons for Brooke to leave Forrester Creations because of her ongoing conflict with Forrester, which is unlikely to make matters any easier. When Brooke returns to B&B in June, he will reflect and turn to Nick Marone for support. With addition to their upcoming romantic reunion, Nick could be able to assist Brooke with determining a new career route. In any event, Brooke will have to cope with some difficult news about Ridge's rejection and find it difficult to go on, so leaving Forrester is definitely an option for her. It's possible that Brooke will update her life in multiple ways. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke will eventually be thankful for Nick's rescue because she will need someone to help her get over her current state of sadness. Ridge lashes out at Brooke and Eric for manipulating the fashion show. According to previews on The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge confronts Eric and both are stunned when Brooke exposes their fake nostalgia in their deceptive fashion show trick using the Portofino gown. Life is not your path. Finally, Ridge catches a glimpse of Eric's fashion show manipulation. Oh. My own goodness. Thursday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful clearly disproved your notion that the program couldn't possibly incorporate more drama into a fashion show. Forrester is not putting up with the explosive repercussions from Brooke Logan and Eric Forrester's staged Portofino gown moment. That spectacularly wrong Portofino ploy. Let's take a quick break. Brooke walked the runway in a redesigned version of her famous Portofino gown, which, represented the height of the bridge relationship in 2003, at last week's Forrester fashion show finale on April 25. Not subtle at all, is it? This fashion moment wasn't your typical one. Eric purposefully planned the entire event, replacing the original model especially to allow Brooke to make her dramatic debut and evoke all of Ridge's sentimental emotions. What deception under the pretext of high fashion! For a fleeting, glitzy instant, it appeared as though their plot may succeed. When Ridge saw his ex-wife wearing that significant gown, he seemed truly moved. Who wouldn't get a little teary-eyed at such an obvious throwback to better days? It gets juicy here, though. When Ridge finally absorbed what had transpired at that fashion show on May 1st, he was fuming. You believe that life is your lane? It's not. Ridge gave Eric what may have been the most scathing reality check in soap opera history in Thursday's episode. You think life is your runway? It isn't. At the sound of his words, I almost spilled my coffee. Ridge seems to have had enough of being manipulated after decades of bouncing back and forth between Brooke and Taylor like a tennis ball. And truthfully? Well done. Seeing Eric's shocked expression when he realized his grand scheme had totally failed is what made this meeting so very enjoyable. He stoked animosity rather than rekindling romance. Traditional soap karma. The situation was exacerbated by Brooke's constant insistence that the fashion world wants us together. How many times did she say that, really? There's nothing more desperate than saying that a whole industry is invested in your romantic life, isn't that right? The factor of Taylor. Poor Taylor Hayes, meantime, has been observing all of this melodrama from the sidelines. Do you recall how, before to the fashion show, she and Brooke were accidentally confined in that storage room? As accidental as my third piece of cheesecake, I suppose. It's amazing how Brooke's dramatic style contrasts so sharply with Taylor's composed, steady demeanor. Ridge seemed to be really appreciating stability and sincerity after years of turbulence, traits that Taylor possesses in plenty. Taylor and Steffi's worried looks as they saw Brooke's runway moment from behind the curtain were not merely jealous, they were a premonition of her amazing outburst. Afterward, what happens? Now, everyone is wondering, where does Ridge go from here? Is this really the last straw in the bridge story, which has lasted for decades? We may be seeing a true turning point for one of the most infamous wafflers of the daytime as Ridge rejects staged moments in favor of something authentic. It's about time, let's face it. Will Brooke intensify her last-ditch efforts to regain his affection? Can Eric mend the harm that his interference has done to Brooke's prospects and his relationship with his son? Or will Ridge and Taylor be able to create something authentic without any theatrical disruptions as a result of this? The ultimate irony in this situation is delicious. Eric and Brooke might have irrevocably wrecked what they were attempting to rescue in their pursuit of the ideal love moment. What an embarrassing fashion blunder. Fans of soap operas, keep an eye out because this fashion catastrophe is far from done. And after watching soap operas for decades, I've learned that wounded pride breeds even more desperate behavior. I'm very excited to see what comes next. Steffi's 6 cold words that make Brooke unable to talk. According to teasers and updates for The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi Forrester may say these 6 terrifying things to Brooke Logan. This will happen once Ridge Forrester makes a final choice about Taylor Hayes. Steffi obviously wants her parents to be happy for a long time. Till the end of time, Steffi ships Tridge. Steffi disapproves of Brooke's persistent attempts to win back her boyfriend since she believes Taylor is Ridge's ideal companion. Steffi is still hopeful that Ridge will honor his promise to Taylor, even if Brooke's latest dramatic stunt with Eric Forrester has just made her more frustrated. B&B spoilers indicate that when Ridge is once again forced to choose between Taylor and Brooke, Steffi might win out. But it seems like Ridge has already decided, so he might simply have to let Brooke know that Taylor is his top pick. As Taylor and Steffi peered out at them, unsure of what would happen next, Brooke made her intentions apparent when she appeared at the fashion show wearing her eye-catching garment. Brooke is going to experience heartbreak. After suffering a terrible loss, Brooke realizes that her relationship with Ridge may not be able to be saved. It looks like Ridge will make it clear that he has no plans to resume their romance, which will surely please Steffi, who wants Ridge to be free of Brooke for good. Furthermore, Steffi wants Taylor to be happy, so she will probably be ecstatic when Ridge finally lets go of Brooke. Steffi might then take advantage of the opportunity to boast about Taylor's victory over Brooke. After Ridge makes his final decision over the woman he wishes to spend the rest of his life with, Steffi could feel obliged to warn Brooke. 6 icy words. The final 6 icy words that Steffi might say to Brooke are as follows: "My mom won, now go on." Brooke will probably be pressured by Steffi to accept Ridge's rejection and realize that the triangle of love is officially finished. Steffi might advise Brooke to get over her reunion fixation before it gets even more ridiculous as Taylor and Ridge get ready for a new chapter in their relationship. Thankfully, when Nick Marone returns to B&B in June, Brooke and he will rekindle their romance. In light of this, if Ridge's jealousy ultimately leads him back toward Brooke, Steffi's victory lap might come a little too soon. Does Nick do better with Brooke, Taylor, or someone else? Fans last saw Nick Marone on the Los Angeles-based CBS soap opera 13 years ago, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. With the handsome man's summer comeback, that is about to change. The show's top ladies will undoubtedly give a man this attractive and talented second looks, and many fans believe he will get back together with his ex-wife Brooke Logan. However, what if he decides on Taylor Hayes, his ex-wife? Tick or brick? Nick and Taylor had a son named Jack while they were married. However, they didn't. Actually, Jack's mother is Brooke. It's not simple. Tick's marriage became strained when the truth was out since Brooke naturally wanted to spend more time with Jack. Since St. Taylor and Jack didn't click, she handed him to Nick, and the two set out to explore the world. When Nick returns to Los Angeles, what will happen? If the ladies quarrel over him, he will have to face both of his ex-partners and might find it difficult to decide what to do. Nick goes back to Los Angeles. Nick's brother, Lothario Ridge Forrester, is the fourth wheel in this scenario. If Tick hit it off again, we can see Ridge getting uncomfortable, and he won't put up with it. He is a complete hypocrite, and we believe that if his sentiments are offended, he will head straight for Brooke. Although Ridge chooses Taylor over Brooke, he might attract attention after the latter's spectacular fashion show incident. Ridge has a lengthy past with him, and she has even pleaded with him to accept her back, but to no effect. Would Nick's comeback alter that? Is Ridge or Tridge your favorite? Does Ridge really mean it when he says he's committed to Taylor? We'll discuss the absurdity of two mature women fighting over a man who has treated them like trash at a later date. Fans of B&B, let us know if you believe Nick should pick Taylor or Brooke. Do you believe Nick should avoid both of these ladies, or is one more appropriate for him? Nick's return to Los Angeles is bound to cause a commotion and jeopardize Tridge's romance. Ridge Forrester's abrupt and startling remarriage to Taylor Hayes on The Bold and the Beautiful is a premeditated, strategic decision with far-reaching effects. It's not just another chapter in the never-ending triangle between Ridge, Taylor, and Brooke. Those who pay careful attention realize that this is about more than just love, even if it might initially seem that Ridge is just reverting to his old habits and seeking solace with the woman who has always supported him. The timing, optics, and shifting dynamics at Forrester Creations all play a part in Ridge's remarriage. Knowing that the business, his legacy, and even his family's structure are at a critical juncture, he makes this audacious decision not just for his own happiness but also to regain control and send a strong message: Ridge Forrester is still in charge. Ridge has been alternating between Brooke and Taylor for years, his feelings influenced by their manipulations, emotional demands, and the politics surrounding the Logan versus Forrester split. This time, however, is different. Brooke had no real chance to halt this remarriage to Taylor, and it happened without the customary pomp. That is what makes it unique. Ridge, who is frequently unsure of himself and easily influenced by his feelings, appears especially determined, as though he had a goal in mind. Perhaps oblivious, or perhaps in denial, that this union is more about chess, positioning, power, and influence, than a romantic comeback, Taylor said yes once more in spite of her own prior heartbreak. Ridge has been carefully observing the changing dynamics in his surroundings in recent weeks. The conflict between Hope and Liam, Thomas's unpredictable nature, and Steffi's own tense marriage with Finn have all put strain on his daughter with Taylor. Steffi has needed a sign of security and a reminder that her family's impact is not only historical but also ongoing. Ridge makes it obvious to Steffi that he supports Taylor, their family, and the original Forrester lineage by being married to her once more. It serves as both a tactical and emotional boost for Steffi. Taylor's presence next to Ridge fortifies their base and undermines the Logan presence if the Forresters are to maintain control over the organization and the story. Additionally, Brooke is undermined at a critical juncture by this move. Ridge interrupted her at the knees just as she appeared to be edging her way back into his heart and into a more active role at Forrester. The remarriage's public nature is a humiliating blow to Brooke, who had centered her identity around her destiny with Ridge. She lost him on a stage, not just another time. Ridge is aware of Brooke's pride and how deeply this choice hurts her, more so than a silent split could. At least for the time being, he has successfully numbed her emotionally, allowing him to gain more control over the firm and at home. Ridge's intentions are not wholly chilly, though. There is a lengthy history, a strong friendship, and mutual respect between him and Taylor. For Ridge, Taylor is a symbol of peace, at least for the time being. She is less impetuous and demanding, and her love frequently has less requirements. By getting married to her, Ridge establishes a place of safety where he can collect himself in the middle of the mayhem. Additionally, Taylor frequently gives Ridge room to lead, think, and regroup. Taylor provides the support system Ridge requires to make significant changes at Forrester, such as reorganizing leadership or concentrating on the next generation. Taylor doesn't try to take charge as Brooke does, all she wants is to be by Ridge's side, not in front of him. However, this remarriage has effects that go beyond Ridge's close friends and family. Ridge has been gently reminded by Forrester that emotional decisions can have business repercussions. Wounded but never one to stay down for long, Brooke might mobilize the Logan side and even entice Hope to take on a more active role in business politics. Ever devoted to Brooke, Donna would attempt to use her connection with Eric to stall Ridge's progress. Then there is Thomas, whose recent actions have sparked concerns. Will he see the remarriage of his parents as an opportunity to re-enter the leadership role at Forrester? Or will all Ridge is creating be at risk due to his instability? Hope Logan is an additional variable that Ridge cannot overlook. She might become more assertive as a result of her mounting mistrust of Liam and her annoyance at Steffi's power. If Ridge doesn't keep a careful watch, he may discover Hope and Brooke secretly formulating their own strategy to balance the scales, possibly even with Carter or Zend, who are both growing more dubious of Ridge's decisions. Ridge's remarriage may temporarily strengthen his personal story, but it only serves to highlight the company's core problems rather than resolving them. Naturally, the issue still stands: is Ridge genuinely in love with Taylor once more, or is this all a long-running scam to influence Brooke, save his family's reputation, and change the trajectory of the business? Taylor might think she's finally achieved her happily ever after, but how long can it endure if Ridge's heart isn't completely in it? Particularly with Brooke still present, hurt, maybe, but resolute. Ridge is well aware that Brooke is not defeated for very long. And what if she discovers that this second marriage was a component of a bigger plan? There might be explosive fallout. Ridge and Taylor's unexpected remarriage is ultimately more than just a romantic turn of events. It's a power move meant to keep his family stable, establish his claim in a split business, and curb Brooke's influence. However, decisions based more on strategy than sincerity seldom last. Viewers can anticipate that as the weeks go by, Ridge will come to the realization that no matter how meticulously he plans, emotion has a way of blowing everything apart. Brooke will emerge from the ashes, and Taylor will detect the cracks. He may have won a battle with this marriage, but the struggle for control over Forrester creations and his own heart is still ongoing. One seemingly indestructible notion has been at the heart of The Bold and the Beautiful: Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan are meant to be together. The story has been told and retold with one main theme through heartache, betrayal, loss, and innumerable reunions, that Brooke and Ridge, affectionately known as Bridge, will always find their way back to one another, no matter how far apart they go. However, what if that fundamental idea is incorrect? What if Brooke and Ridge's entire notion of destiny has been a protracted, emotionally manipulative cycle created by comfort and routine rather than fate? Even more intriguing is the possibility that Ridge isn't Brooke's ideal Forrester. Is it possible that Brooke's genuine partner, her romantic match and emotional equal, is somewhere else in the Forrester family tree, and that destiny just picked the most obvious route rather than the right one? First, let's examine Ridge and Brooke's history, which is replete with passion and lavish displays but is also tainted by a never-ending cycle of misunderstandings, adultery, hurt, and mistrust. Ridge is now with Taylor instead of Brooke. Brooke cheated. Ridge has frequently excused his own shortcomings while brutally criticizing Brooke for her history. Although there has always been a strong attraction between them, stability or even happiness are not correlated with intensity alone. In actuality, their relationship has devolved into a kind of emotional treadmill with little to no advancement. In her quest for Ridge's approval, Brooke frequently compromises her sense of value. Instead of being a place of genuine connection, Ridge sees his relationship with Brooke as a haven from the mayhem. Would love like that, conditional, erratic, founded on a common past but lacking in peace, truly be fate? Now think about Brooke's behavior when she isn't with Ridge. She is frequently more powerful, focused, and able to make decisions on her own when she is not involved in the never-ending triangle with Taylor. Despite their flaws, her relationships with men like Nick Marone and Bill Spencer showed a different Brooke, one who was regarded as a partner, unabashedly sensual, and self-assured. Brooke frequently has to defend her history and demonstrate her value while she is around Ridge. When she is around other people, she is accepted more easily. A crucial question is thus brought up: is Ridge's love conditional? Has he ever really come to terms with Brooke's imperfections, past, and ambition? Which Forrester is best for Brooke, if not Ridge? Perhaps Eric Forrester's response is the most intriguing and surprising. Brooke and Eric have always had a special emotional bond, even though their previous relationship ended a long time ago. Brooke's thoughts have been better understood by Eric than by Ridge. He has praised her for her business acumen and knowledge in addition to her attractiveness. Never once has he demanded that she shrink herself for his own ego. Instead, he has backed her career and encouraged her ambition. Eric, the Forrester clan's patriarch, possesses the dignity and empathy that Ridge frequently lacks. When things get tough, he faces them head-on rather than running away. Eric has frequently served as Brooke's sounding board and anchor when her life falls apart. Longtime fans may find it unrealistic that they would resume their romance, but it's important to consider if Eric was the ideal fit all along and always recognized Brooke's potential. Thorne Forrester comes next. Thorne and Brooke once had a kind, straightforward relationship that is frequently underutilized and ignored. Compared to Ridge, their romance was much less intense but also less damaging. Unlike Ridge, Thorne did not view Brooke as a trophy to be fought for or as a conquest. He gave her human treatment. Perhaps because their relationship didn't offer the dramatic highs and lows that writers seek, which, strangely, would have made it the healthier option, it never received the screen time or narrative commitment that Brooke and Ridge's did. Thorne and Brooke might have created a peaceful, loving existence together, one founded on respect for one another rather than romantic conflict, in a world without Ridge. Even Thomas Forrester, a contentious and younger choice, offers an interesting, if crazy, what if. Having long admired Brooke and experienced relationship difficulties of his own, Thomas knows what it's like to be portrayed as the antagonist and to be misinterpreted. Can he and Brooke, who both survived the Forrester power games, discover something genuine if he ever fully matures and overcomes his manipulative tendencies? Although this may seem far-fetched, it raises the chance that Brooke's future will be with someone unexpected, someone who views her with new eyes rather than through the prism of drama from decades past. In addition, there's a pragmatic reason to doubt Ridge, as Ridge has a track record of sabotaging Brooke. In family conflicts, he frequently takes Taylor's or Steffi's side, isolating Brooke. He is frequently physically there yet emotionally distant when she needs him most. In the meantime, Brooke has given up a lot to remain in Ridge's sphere of influence. How often did she swallow her pride and overlook his wrongdoings? How many times has she been humiliated just to be portrayed as the bad guy because of her own suffering? Addiction, habit, or a simple fear of the unknown could be the cause of a love that costs this much self-respect. The Bold and the Beautiful has a chance to end this pattern for the first time in a long time. Brooke has grown up. The scandal-plagued ingenue battling for legitimacy is no longer her. She is a CEO, a grandma, and a survivor of both private and public heartbreak. She should be with someone who is as evolved as she is, not someone who keeps bringing her back to her old hurts. Whether it's Thorne, Eric, or someone else entirely, Brooke's next big love story should and may help her advance rather than regress. And how would Ridge be affected by such a change? Maybe the only way Ridge can confront his own shortcomings is to lose Brooke forever. Maybe he needs to witness Brooke succeeding without him in order to fully understand that she was never a comfort item or a stand-in for him while he alternated between two women. Although Ridge is frequently portrayed as the epitome of romance, perhaps it's time for him to acknowledge that he has been the hindrance rather than the cause of Brooke's pleasure. Now is the time for the program to bravely ask the question, what if Brooke and Ridge were never destiny, but just a long detour from it, as fans want new plots and stronger writing? What if the proper Forrester had been sitting patiently by her side the entire while she was pursuing someone else's romantic ideal? What if Ridge was only the prelude to a more profound and genuine connection that was still in the works? A significant new chapter for Brooke might be ushered in if The Bold and the Beautiful has the guts to defy expectations and rewrite destiny, one that finally grants her the respect, love, and tranquility she has always earned. The greatest twist of all, maybe, is that Ridge Forrester was never the one.